This cheap $25 MP3 player has completely changed my perspective on music, podcasts, media, consumption, and so much more, and most importantly, intentionality. And I just want to quickly talk about how I use it, how you can do the same, and what impacts it has had on me personally. So I've had a Spotify premium account for, I want to say, probably close to 5, 6 years. And I think the price of Spotify has changed from about $6 per month, and most recently I think I was paying $11 or $12 per month. I canceled that about 2, 3 months ago, and in exchange for this, so a $25 MP3 player. Now, if you add up all of the money that I've spent on Spotify over the years, it's probably about an average of, what is that, 8 times 12, $8 per month average times 12 is 96 over 5 years. So maybe like $500 or so worth. Not the end of the world over the course of 5 years. But the biggest impact has been, like I said, the intentionality. So if you're not familiar, MP3 files is just a very basic form of audio files. It can be for books, podcasts, music, DJ mixtapes, whatever it might be. And you can use all sorts of software. I use something called Homebrew and YTDLP to basically download all of this MP3 files that I like from the internet. So I go from YouTube or a Spotify link. That's basically the only 2 spots that I've ever used as a source to download these files. And what this player really allows me to do from an intentionality perspective is, rather than the market or the marketing or the advertising deciding for me what I'm going to listen to, I have full control over the intention of what I listen to, what podcasts I consume, and most importantly, don't consume, what books I listen to, what music I listen to. I only have about, at the moment, 150 to 200 songs on this thing. It has 64 gigabytes of storage, so it's enough for, I think, well over 10,000 songs. I've got a few podcasts as well, from John Lennox, Dry Creek Wrangler School, and I think I have one Joe Rogan podcast on here. And this allows me to download a podcast, listen to it, and then delete it or keep it forever if I would like. There's no more advertising. There's no more, just the luck of the algorithm showing you something or not showing you something. And same thing goes for music, right? There's hundreds of thousands of artists all over the world, maybe millions, probably millions, all producing dozens of songs, and it's all just coming at you from all angles, especially on a platform like Spotify. And this just allows you to, again, be fully intentional with it. And the impact it's had on me with my relationship with music is music has become a lot less of a default. I think I'm not alone in viewing music as kind of a background filler for life. When life gets boring, we go on a walk in a city, in a park, whatever it might be, most people have a form of music. It's becoming less and less common to just experience life for what it is, whether that's traffic noises or nature noises or complete silence. And obviously you can still listen to music when you're in these settings with an MP3 player. This doesn't solve that problem, but it becomes much more of an analog and manual process. It's not just one button and there's an infinite amount of music that could literally play for eternity on a phone. There's a very finite amount of information that this holds at this very moment. Like I said, less than 200 songs. So when I go to the gym, I have a small handful of music that I listen to. I have some Gregorian battle chants. I've got some house music. I've got some very kind of angelic choir music. I have rock. And that's about it that I have right now. Will I add more stuff in the future? Absolutely. But when I go to the gym, I know there's a very small handful of things that I can listen to, unlike Spotify, where I can look up gym playlist and within seconds have 100 hours of gym playlists, and then it becomes this game of it's never enough. There's always something better around the corner. This consolidates that. There's nothing better around the corner. All that exists is what I have decided to put on this, and I think that speaks to a much bigger problem that we face as people living in a first world country with an infinite amount of options. We have every food that grows around the world at our fingertips. We have dating apps that create this illusion of there's an infinite amount of options out there. We have all the housing options, right? Like, do you want to live in this apartment, that apartment, countryside, high rise, suburbs? Like, it's options and options, and they just come infinitely to you. And I'm not saying that options are inherently bad, but when the options become borderline infinite beyond what your average human can comprehend and digest, I think it leads to a lot of problems. Especially food. Food is one that I can really agree on with that, where back in the day it was a pretty limited amount of food options. I'm not saying in a scarce way, but I'm saying in a local supply way. There was maybe only 2 or 3 types of animals that were in abundance in the area, a few fruits, a few vegetables, and a few grains or bread types in the area. Now with the creeping up of globalization, obviously we have infinite amount of options, and we are less healthy, arguably, than ever before on average. So, this went completely off topic from what I was thinking about, but my point is, get yourself an MP3 player, stop paying Spotify $10 or $12, whatever it is per month, get this thing, pay $25 once, you probably already have a pair of wired headphones, even though this has Bluetooth if you want it, you pair it together, you're fully intentional about what you listen to, and there's plenty of songs and plenty of books that do not exist on Spotify, so you have to get them elsewhere anyway. If you download from YouTube, if you download from Spotify, you have all the options that you need, easily available. If you need any tips on how to download or what MP3 player to get, I specifically got one with a few set of attributes. I wanted it to be a USB-C, so I can charge my phone, my laptop, and the MP3 player all with the same thing. I wanted it with an expandable SD card, so I can swap that out if it ever gets damaged or anything. It's super lightweight. It's 28 grams. It has a clip on the back. It also has a pedometer. I haven't really used that yet, but it's just a great setup. Would highly recommend. And yeah, I think the world is really making a shift to more analog living. Again, kind of going off on tangents here, but I just want to make some more content on YouTube. I've been using my camera's so blurry, but it's just a habit tracker, all digital. I've tried using phone apps before, and this has worked better than anything else. I don't know if you can see very well, but that's all the days of the month, the habits that I'm doing, and then whether or not I do them. These are the bad habits. And then also just kind of tracking my life in a calendar format. I know it's super basic, but it gets the job done. And this is more of a jewelry. I'm not really a jewelry guy, but I can kind of view this as a jewelry thing. I love analog technology. I don't have anything inherently against digital, but this is one of my favorite recent purchases, and it'll probably be my watch for a decade or more to come. It's an Orient Kamasu. It's a fully automatic watch, meaning I took the back off before, and there's a bunch of just gears running in here. So there's no battery, there's no computer chip, there's nothing. There's zero EMF coming off of this, completely zero. It's just a bunch of gears and little hands and everything. It is off about 10 seconds per day, but that's actually pretty normal for an automatic watch. Very high-end ones might be only off by 2 or 3 seconds per day. But that's been, yeah. I'm very attracted to the idea of things becoming more analog. I've also been using a lot more cash lately. I had a lot of cash from a deposit that I received back, so just using cash at grocery stores, tracking all of my expenses. I am tracking them digitally, but using cash has been really nice. Making your own wallet, another thing that's very amazing analog-wise, using physical writing utensils. I have a rubber band to keep my one book and my one notebook together. I have a pocket on the back of this notebook to hold important documents. I made my own coffee cup this past summer. I use it for coffee every single day. It's good. I think the analog lifestyle is really good. It's not the only way, but I think there's a lot of value in the analog style. So, yeah, super off tangent towards the end, but like I said, I want to make more YouTube videos. Again, if you want to know how to use an MP3 player, I know 20 years ago probably everyone knew how to use it. Today, not so much. So if you have any questions about that, please leave a comment below. I'd be happy to answer. And yeah, let's move towards a more analog future.